Give me the argument, the best argument you know, for the power of cinema.
Sup, bro?
What's up, bro?
Dude, it's been so long, man.
Not really.
Hey, bro. Hi. What's up, everyone? This is Peliculas with the Bros. My name is Adrian.
My name is Ivan.
And look at us. We're back. We're in person.
Alive.
The pandemic has changed us a bit. It would be interesting to look back at the last video and see the physical transformation.
Like before, there was like life in my eyes.
Yes.
And then you look at this one, and it's just dead.
Or what if now you're just really happy that so many people have passed away because you're a serial killer?
That too.
And then your face is just brighter.
I think either way, it would be scary.
Yes.
Like if after I'm like happier, it's like, what's wrong with this dude? If after I'm sad, I'm like, oh, there's something wrong with this dude.
It's sort of the dilemma we have as a society. You can't be happy because people are mad. You can't be mad because people are happy.
Makes you think. Makes me want to watch Joker or something.
Yeah, classic movie. A movie that, it's funny that the audio shows that we're not even talking, but can you say something?
No.
Oof, that doesn't look good.
We could trust the process. You still got that audio, right?
Yeah, and it's not like that audio sounds horrible.
If it does, it does.
Joker. A movie that we liked, right? Or loved?
I liked it.
And people hated.
I think...
The social justice warriors hated.
I don't know who hated it. Whoever hated it is a nerd, or they're losers, or they suck.
Nerds are the ones that it's not true to the comic nerd, or nerd as in you're just
dork.
a nerd, you're a loser.
Like a dork.
Yeah, that could be it.
It's like at worst, it's in a bubble. It's like a well-made movie.
Yes. Get rid of, rename it from Joker to Clown.
The Clown.
The Clown, and it's a great indie film.
Yeah, and I think all its criticisms are either it's copying something else, or it's a superhero movie, or it's too edgy. But it's real life. I don't know what part of it couldn't be edgy, because it's just how it is.
The reason why it's bad if it's edgy is because this is a comic book movie that kids probably want to watch, maybe, or
Possible.
so they're saying maybe it's a little too edgy for this concept, but who cares about that, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta raise the volume to make sure everything's working right. Okay, people, well, this is Peliculas with the Bros. We're back after more than a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost a year.
Yeah.
And this is a podcast, a show of sorts, where my brother, I get to point now, and it actually makes sense.
You could have pointed on the screen.
My brother, yeah, I could have done that. Dang it. My brother Ivan and myself, Adrian, we talk about movies. We talk about movies that we like, movies that we love, and what we do now usually is we do miniseries, and we do it based off a director. We go down the director's filmography. We did a writer before. We did, what's his name?
Aaron Sorkin.
Aaron Sorkin. But today is not Aaron Sorkin's day, and we give affectionate, lovely names to all of our alumni directors, right?
Yeah. What's this dude's name?
This guy,
Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks. That is
longer.
That is ugly enough to be good.
We'll call him Melly.
Melly? Yeah, like Nelly, but Melly.
Yeah.
Or yeah, Melly's good actually. Melly.
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 Yeah, don't.
Okay, don't push it. Yeah. So we're doing Mel Brooks currently. This is the fourth film we did in Mel Brooks' filmography.
Mm-hmm.
This is the movie of 1974. Ivan, what movie is this?
Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein.
Frankenstein?
It's not Frankenstein. It's Frankenstein.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Sips coffee loudly. 1974, Evan.
Mm-hmm.
Came out the same year as his hugely popular movie, Blazing Saddles.
Mm-hmm.
2 blockbusters in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Other than DMX, who has made 2 great pieces of work in the same year? Exactly. Alright. Let's go back into 1974. We actually did this in the last podcast, but we'll do this quickly. Top 10 films of 1974. Murder on the Orient Express. The Life and Times of Grizzly Adams. The Longest Yards. Number 7, Airport, 1975. Number 6, The Godfather, Part 2. Please take that in. In 1974, the number 6 film of the year is Godfather, Part 2. Number 5, The Trial of Billy Jack. Number 4, Earthquake. Number 3, Young Frankenstein. And it's beaten out by Blazing Saddles, the other movie that came out a little bit earlier.
He was on the streak. 2 for.
This is what they call a streak, Ivan. The premise, I'm glad you asked, Ivan. Dr. Friedrich Frankenstein is a descendant of the great Victor Frankenstein. Although he is a doctor, he does not dabble in the same dark experiments that his great-grandfather was part of. Destiny changes this as he becomes the sole inheritor of the family estate in Transylvania and learns of the experiments that took place at the estate, changing him from a skeptic to a madman bent on creating life. With the cast of Gene Wilder as Dr. Friedrich Frankenstein, Peter Boyle as the monster, Marty Feldman as Igor or Igor,
Yes.
Cloris Leachman as Frau Beulah. German names are pretty crazy, huh?
I like it.
It's guttural or is it
Throtal.
guttural and visceral?
Throtal.
A lot of throat.
Hold.
Mm-hmm. If you can do this, you can do
German?
50% of the names that you're talking about in German.
Is that racist?
It could be Terry Garr as Inga, Kenneth Marr as Inspector Kim, Madeline Kahn as Elizabeth. Ivan, this movie. Let's talk about this movie real quick.
Mm-hmm.
This is your first time watching it?
Yeah.
Mine too. When were you aware of this movie?
All my life in some ways, because I don't remember when I first heard of it, but I've always known of it.
Likewise.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should make it a point now that like there's 50 movies like this in our life that you've heard in the back of your head and that you know they're classics. We need to just watch it.
I still haven't finished Godfather 2.
Oh,
So long.
is it?
Yeah. They're both long.
How long are they? Like 2.5, right?
Like 3 hours.
But you're over here watching the Snyder Cut like it's no tomorrow.
Don't put me on the spot like that.
That's sort of like indicative, or what's like indicative?
I think it was indicative.
Indicative of our generation, right? We're gonna watch the Snyder Cut 4 hours of pure garbaggio metal,
Yeah.
but we wouldn't watch 3 hours of a classic because it's old Italian.
It's slow. I really, really want to watch it, but I just know it's gonna be tough. But I know I'll enjoy it.
It's not gonna be tough.
It's so slow!
It's like break it up into like you were watching Sopranos.
I don't like breaking up movies.
Yeah, me neither. It really throws off the consistency.
Yeah.
It took me so long to finish Snyder Cut.
I watched that all at once.
All the way?
Yeah.
Did you live to tell the tale?
I just woke up, watched it, and then went about my day.
It's we'll talk about it later. Jesus Christ. Going into this movie, Evan. What the hell were you expecting?
I thought it would be funnier.
Really? I'm crying like and smiling at the same time. Go
Just
ahead.
because I like Blazing Saddles a lot, and that felt like it was funny the entire time. This one felt like maybe it was because it wasn't exactly supposed to be a comedy. It was more like comedy story, whereas Blazing Saddles felt more like straight up comedy.
Oh, I have to disagree.
I mean, they're both comedy.
Yes.
But Blazing Saddles leans more into the comedy, I feel.
Okay.
And it was a little old, like not the black and white part, but the black and white part too.
Yeah.
But
The setting.
yeah, and it reminded me of what's the 12 Chairs kind of. You had to know the history of Russia a bit, and its stuff to know the references. You had to know Frankenstein's history
Right.
to know all the references.
But Frankenstein's lore is sort of embedded into us as a society, isn't it?
But we've never actually read it
That's
or
true.
watched it.
Yeah.
We just like we only know Frankenstein from Van Helsing, and that's not healthy.
We need to learn our Frankenstein in a legitimate
A
manner.
little bit.
It's funny that you say that because as kids we grew up thinking that Frankenstein is the monster,
Yeah,
but isn't Frankenstein the doctor
yeah,
always?
yeah,
And he creates a monster.
yeah. And that shows like nobody really knows what, or that nobody has really read or seen
Right.
Frankenstein
Right.
fully. They just get it from like pop culture, you know?
Yeah. It is funny how we
We're stupid.
that and like how we consume things changes based off like someone deciding let's just call the monster Frankenstein, and then that's what becomes it.
It's like the telephone game. Right?
Yes. So you thought it was gonna be funnier.
Yeah.
And well, I thought it was gonna be like Blazing Saddles adjacent.
But like commentary on or satire.
Satire, classic quality,
Mm.
funniness,
Mm.
all that.
Mm.
After watching it, it sounds like you said, you thought it was gonna be funnier. Would you say it's a bad movie?
Nah.
It's not a bad movie.
Nah.
No.
It's good.
Is it? Let's say you remove Blazing Saddles from your memory.
I think it would have been an even tougher watch. Because
I love that because I would have never expected you to say because after that, but you said it. But
well, I was coming off like the high
High.
rating of a 9 for Blazing Saddles, so I was like, what's next? What's next?
right.
By Drake.
Oh. Does he ever say what's next in the song?
Yeah?
When? Okay. What's next? Okay. Is that?
Yeah. Something like that. Doesn't matter.
You should have rapped it like that.
I didn't know.
You should have been like, I came off a 9. Okay. What's next? Okay.
That was
And I still wouldn't have got it, by the way. So go ahead.
made it worse,
I know.
actually.
So you're coming off a 9.
And then like I'm ready for pure hits after this. Even though I kind of expected Blazing Saddles to be like the peak
Okay.
for me, but like I was kind of was expecting an 8.9 at the very least,
Right.
unrealistically.
No,
Um,
that's not unrealistic.
I mean it is now.
Oh, okay. That's not even how you should use unrealistic.
I think of time as like all encompassing. I don't think of like
Alright, here we go.
I don't know what else.
But I'm saying like remove Blazing Saddles from that you even watched it
Oh,
and you came into
I think it would have been harder. Because
you think you would have not liked it as much?
I would have been more skeptical on. This,
Uh,
I mean, it felt like closer to 12 Chairs, which was a little
interesting.
hard
Okay.
not hard to watch, but hard to like stay entertained. Whereas Blazing Saddles, that wasn't a problem.
Right.
Um,
But is it because...
Blazing Saddles?
Yeah.
Who knows? I guess we'll never know.
That is interesting because I can totally see your opinion because Blazing Saddles was such a jarring film. How vulgar it was, how quote unquote racist it was. But coming into this movie, it's a lot more subdued.
Mm-hmm.
It's a film written by Gene and Mel themselves, not with the help of like Richard Pryor, who probably added a lot of the funk to the last film.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see coming into this movie thinking like I'm amped, but being like, oh okay, it's not as crazy as the last one.
Mm-hmm.
So that probably skewed the membrane a little bit.
I don't think I would have enjoyed it either way as much, just because.
What if they had like a black character in here and there's like racist parts like that, like the satire on the racism?
That makes me look bad.
I think it would have been a like you said, like a more entertaining film though.
Well, I wouldn't know how to work that in, but maybe. But I'm not saying change it.
Right.
I think it's good as is, but it's just not for me.
Right. Okay, I can see that. For me, after watching it, well, I'll tell you how I felt after watching it.
You will?
Right after this break. Like that. I'm gonna leave that in where I said like that.
What about this part?
I might add some comedy to
What
it.
about this part?
Ivan,
Adrian?
do you want to know how I felt about this movie after watching it?
I would love nothing more than to hear.
No, Ivan, no. Ask nicer.
No.
I like that. So, how should I say this?
Mm-hmm.
To me, there is laugh out loud parts
Okay.
in this film. There was also parts where like I feel like the whole film they were trying to tell a joke. Like it was a joke after joke. Like every scene was a setup for, and there's only a couple of parts where it got like quote unquote serious,
Mm-hmm.
and I sort of liked those parts too. But overall, they were always trying to be comedic.
Yeah.
And I think they succeeded for 50% of the times, and the other times they didn't. But I think that's partly because of how comedy ages.
Yeah.
The last film, they had less instances of them missing jokes because
Racism is still alive.
racism, it always hits right in the funny bone.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Unfortunately, it's so funny to be racist. That's just the thing.
Cut!
Well,
You can't say that!
bring in the producers.
Imagine like this whole set lifts. Like,
That would be so dope.
do that in post-production.
Okay. No, I just think that racism is always funny. Like, it's a thing that can be always funny.
Yeah.
Because it's so offensive. And when something's always offensive, or when something's offensive, it can always be funny. So this movie tries to do that, but it doesn't have the racism satire, so it relies purely on... And there's... the jokes are sort of like classic jokes, like, you see what I did there? Or
Yeah.
like, what's your name? Igor. I thought it was Igor. No, you got that mispronounced. It's like, they don't have to work too hard. They're really trying to tell these jokes, but it's not like complicated jokes. It's
Just like-
slapsticky.
Everyman joke.
Everyman jokes. And those tend to just fall off with time, right? Overall, I think I like the movie a lot. I wish... This is one of the films I wished I was shown when I was a kid. Like 10 years old, 12 years old. Because it would have been really funny to me then.
Okay.
And it would have held, like when I watched it now, it would have held a nostalgic value.
Alright.
Where now I'm watching it as an adult, where I can obviously tell that this movie is like dated a little bit,
Uh-huh.
and there are funny parts, but it's not going to hold such a high value to me now that I'm an adult.
I see.
So if I watched this as a kid, I would have been cracking up at all the jokes. And then by this time, I'd be like, oh, I love that movie. It's a classic. Gotta show that to the kids when they get 10 years old or something. So, overall, I liked it. Gene Wilder.
A hero?
What?
A troubadour?
Third film we watched of a troubadour.
I got it from Mad Men.
There's many things you can get from Mad Men. Troubadour isn't one.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Gene Wilder.
Mm-hmm.
Third film we watched of his so far.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth overall in our lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that I know we've only watched Willy Wonka with Gene Wilder and nothing else.
What do you want me to say?
He's sick, man.
So accusatory of you.
Because it's the same for me. That's why. This is the last Gene Wilder movie with Mel Brooks.
Rip.
What's your takeaway from good old Gene?
I think he just likes doing what he does. Like, he's perfectly content in what he does and in life.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I see that.
It feels like he doesn't really get stressed. He just does it, you know?
Yeah.
Doesn't overthink. Just acts, lives, smiles.
Before watching these movies with Mel Brooks, I thought Gene Wilder was more of a...
Crazy?
like a scholar.
Okay.
Not a scholar, that's a horrible word, but like a more...
Intellectual.
Intellectual comedian.
Like?
Comedic actor.
Like?
Like a Woody Allen. Like... Who's like a newer generation of like a smart, funny actor? Maybe like
Name a movie.
Name a movie. Okay.
No, I thought you had one in your mind.
No.
Like, you couldn't think
So
of his name.
I'm thinking of like the famous actors right now, or famous comedic actors, and I can't really think of any.
Because there's not really comedies these days. It's more like
No.
funny situations, but not like straight up. You know.
So Steve Carell. I'm not comparing him to.
Kind of old, but
I'm just saying Steve Carell, right?
okay.
He is a comedic actor.
Mhm.
He's more in line with Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
Like they're sort of equivalent, right? In terms of style.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Sacha Baron Cohen. He's like a Mel Brooks, right?
Yeah. Modern.
More modern.
I'd say even more modern, because he like all of his stuff is kind of political commentary in some way,
Right.
or satire.
You like my mini cup?
Not at all.
So I guess I was thinking that Mel Brooks was gonna be a little bit more intellectual based. Like he has like a lot of like I thought he had a lot of more nuanced roles.
Mm-hmm.
But after watching these three films, maybe his other films are more nuanced. But after watching these three films, I'm like, oh, okay. So he wasn't intellectual per se.
Mm-hmm.
He was just like you said. He's a guy that came in, clocked in, and when he clocked in, he busted his ass.
Gene Wilder? You said Mel Brooks.
Sorry, Gene Wilder. Yeah,
Okay.
Gene Wilder. And then after watching this movie, Gene to me is because it's gonna be the last one we'll probably talk about Gene again another time. But it's I feel like he's a great. It's the same thing. Like he's a great actor who can do comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's in, he'll go crazy. He has a couple roles where a couple of scenes where he has to just be a crazy man, and he executes that perfectly.
Indeed.
What are your opinions? So this movie is a satire. It's a satire based off of the Universal Studios movies from the 1930s about like horror, from Frankenstein to Dracula, all those kind of movies. What do you think about those movies? They're such they're not even in our lexicon anymore, And when they are in our cultural lexicon, when they do come up, they're purely like this, satire based. Like, we've never actually watched the 1930 Dracula movie.
Yeah. I think this is kind of going back to when, I think last week I said, when we're talking about Godfather 2 and Blazing Saddles and how it's crazy something like Godfather 2 made less money, even though it's such a big cultural impact.
Uh-huh.
I think, like, after a point, like, these movies like Frankenstein and stuff like that, they stay in, like, the culture. Whereas, like, some no-name movie that was pretty good.
Slither.
Slither, the movie in 1930 or whatever.
Uh-huh.
It was probably good, but it's just not in the culture.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of a cruel way to say it, but, like, it shows, like, the pointlessness of it.
Oof.
Like how only the real culturally impactful things stay over, like, time. And even, like, Frankenstein's gone in a way. 'Cause
Yes.
it's not really a thing.
Right.
But I think everyone knows what Frankenstein is. So, like, the things that matter will come out on top and will stay. And I don't think we really have to go back and watch those movies, because, like, it already inspired so many of the movies we've seen today. So if we watch it, we're just gonna see the same thing, but from, like, 20 different movies.
Yeah.
Like, all put into one.
Yep.
So it's pointless.
Like, you've already consumed the source material through so many different facets that there's no use of watching the source material.
I think it only matters if you're, like, into film or into literature, like, super, like a major or something
Like
like
a
that.
historian.
Yeah. But
Uh-huh.
if you're just watching movies, I think it's kind of pointless to, like, pour over, like, all the 1930 movies.
Right.
Unless you want to get, like, inspiration in some way. But even then, like, there's a ton of other movies that are modern that you would probably enjoy more, that do it better, that are inspired from that.
Yep. Yeah,
So,
I agree with that.
like, save time, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're not in the field of historical purposes.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Universal was like, they made this big to-do where they're like, guys, we know you love the Marvel Cinematic Universe. How about the Universal Horror Universe? Well, we're bringing it back, baby. Johnny Depp, Tom Cruise, some no-names.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna make Frankenstein. We're gonna make the, what is it, Shadow Man, or the Invisible Man.
Yeah.
And Mummy. Mummy was like their first
Try.
and it failed, right? That's probably what happened. So, and when it failed, they sort of pivoted.
They should have just went wild. Like, they have these basically free, like, hits. Give them, like, half the budget from The Mummy and get a up-and-coming director who's a weirdo and say, do what you want with the Mummy franchise.
This is exactly where I wanted to go.
I got you.
So, we're in the business of
Fixing Hollywood.
fixing Hollywood. Adrian and Ivan, plumbers at your service. We specialize in cinematic universes. Oh god. Universal hires us. They give us what they have. They have like 8 properties, 8 IPs. We're like, give us a week. Ivan, who are you going to come back with? Like, this is my pitch.
Well, who do I have?
Alright, so you can go like the classic way. You can go many different ways. If you want to go like a classic way, my pitch is like Guillermo del Toro.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, we have a guy that knows horror. He can redo these in a more beautiful way.
Would they be set in, like, the 1800s?
Knowing Del Toro, he'll probably do like set in that time, yeah.
I'll do, like, a modern thing.
So you want something more modern. So how about
racism included?
Oh god. How about Ari Aster?
But for what? Frankenstein? I don't know.
So okay, do you want to come on? Do you want to use multiple directors?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want serious or comedic or? Because you can go comedic. You can go satire based.
No, I wouldn't.
Like, hold on.
Okay.
Jordan Peele. You give the reins to Jordan Peele. You tell him get 8 up and coming directors.
Have them be like.
But have him, be like
the mastermind.
The mastermind. Because you've seen what he did with Get Out.
Yeah.
You know he can do scary / comedy.
I approve that idea. A modern produced what's his name?
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele. Key Peele.
Because he's doing Candyman. He's executive producing that. And it basically looks like a version of Us. Because it has like a slow down hip hop song. He went all.
I feel like he's gonna be one note for like.
I feel like
the rest of his life.
We'll see. Let's go in time. So you like that Peele, and then get like up and coming directors.
Yeah. Yeah. Make it modern.
I would like if they're on a budget too. What I would do is I'll be like, okay, we don't have to go the Peele route and be like more modern and serious. We can go a funny route and do satire based cinematic universe, and get Peele, but make him get up and coming comedic directors, and do universal horror satire cinematic universe. But I think you're right.
I think that would be tough, just because I don't think there's that many good comedy directors. Like Adam McKay is like the one that I think is only one that I think is good.
Yes. Right. Because it is harder than it seems, right?
Yeah.
To make us a good satire.
Because like Scorsese, he's the best director, right? But I don't think he could ever make a comedy as good as anything.
Right.
Because I don't think he's a funny guy, like naturally, you know?
Right.
And I think that's something either has to be natural, you just gotta know, like a gut feeling, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it would just be tough to get like, I don't know, 7 comedy directors and like judge them, like, you're funny.
Ultimately, what's the plan though? You make 7 of these movies, do you want them to like join up and...
team up and then they're like in the middle of New York, ready to fight, Frankenstein Mecca version.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
I guess you just want to make it so that like everything is sort of...
I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm ready.
It's serious. It's modern, like set in modern time, but it's not like that political. I mean, you could do like political, like similes or whatever, allegories. But in the end, like Frankenstein pops up, and he kind of loses, but he also wins, like in a way. I don't know how they would go about that.
Okay.
Mummy happens, like he kind of loses, but in the end he kind of wins.
What do you mean he kind of... Like, he loses... Because he's a bad guy in the movie,
He loses
right?
the battle, but wins the war, that sort of thing.
Against who?
I don't know. I'm not...
Is he the protagonist or antagonist in the film?
Antagonist.
Gotcha, okay. So, like, he gets punched in the face and it looks like he's dead, but at the last moment he's like...
Okay, we won't do that because like, if we both knew that was going to happen, we shouldn't do that.
But then...
But they win, and it's like 7
right.
movies, and at the end, like there's some weird team up that hopefully wouldn't be corny, and then they like take over Earth, and then like phase 2 is like post-apocalyptic horror world where people have to survive, like a Quiet Place, sort of like that, and it's like mini stories of people surviving and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And maybe like phase 3 they come back and win, but it's like At what cost?
But who beats them?
Humanity
Humanity.
in some way. That's 3 phases right there.
Is there any, or what if there's like so like there's 8 characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
8 or 7, whatever. What if like one of them or 3 of them are like really bad and then 5 are like anti-heroes?
Shut up.
You know what I mean?
But like in what way?
Frankenstein, like the trope on Frankenstein is
Oh,
like,
okay, yeah.
he's a good guy underneath it all.
But that would be like, I think that would happen in like phase 2, where like the anti-heroes realize like, you know what, humanity. And then Frankenstein goes on their team.
Gotcha.
Mummy doesn't, because like Mummy's like an ancient spirit, which is like.
He's probably the most powerful too.
Yeah, I think he's like the Thanos or something.
Yeah.
Like just the big dude.
Yep.
The head honcho.
Hey there.
Who else is there? That's like the only 2.
There's the Invisible Man. There's Dracula. Dracula would be
Dracula?
Dracula versus Mummy. Go to the.
I would do like Dracula wins, sort of, but he has like a human son, and then like that's like the story in phase 2. Like the human son comes and is the new leader of the vampire army, and then like that flips like the humanity side.
I like where you're going.
Yes.
I like it. I like it a lot.
You'll buy it?
I'll buy it. I'll buy it. It's funny how all things have to be cinematic universes now.
I think the beauty of mine is that you could cut it at any time, and I think it would be good.
Right. Like
Phase 1
if you're
is
losing money,
Yeah,
just cut it there.
yeah. Because phase 2 is just like little stories, and it'll be like, that's the end, humanity lost.
Right.
But people like it, like phase 3, they
Right.
come back. And that's it.
When did Marvel realize like you know how like they're like in Avengers they show like the cut that shows the next bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
When did they realize like we can never miss? Because that is scary what you're saying. It's like at any point you can cut off my version of this cinematic universe.
Mm-hmm.
At what point were they like, oh no, if we don't get this right, we're gonna not only lose out on this $1 billion, but we're gonna lose out on future billions of dollars.
I think Iron Man 1 was so good that it didn't matter for so long. Because like Thor 1 and 2 were kind of poopy. Captain America was good, but it wasn't like mind-blowing. What else was there?
Iron Man 2 was poopy.
It was a little poopy. And those were all like phase 1 movies.
Yeah.
And I remember like at that point I was like, I'm not feeling these anymore. But then like eventually it, like
that is true.
they realized like, oh, we gotta actually make these good, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then they came back before like they were thrown out. Because I felt like this isn't that good. But by Infinity War I was like,
Yeah.
I want this for 20 more years at least.
I need this drug. That is crazy. Because we'll get into it later, but Snyder Cut shows like a bunch of possible ways they can go,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, oh, but we're not gonna go any
I'm
of
so
those
happy like that it's out because like people can shut up about it. You know?
We'll talk about it later. Okay.
Melly Brooks, Melly.
Mel Brooks. I love that horror universe. Well, we should cut that up and slice it and dice it.
Yeah.
Peter Boyle as the monster. He plays the monster that gets created by Dr. Frankenstein. Do you know who Peter Boyle is? Did he look recognizable to you? He did? But you're like, I don't know who it is. He plays the dad in Everybody Loves Raymond. The grandpa.
Who's Peter Boyle?
He's the,
Is it Igor?
No, he's the monster.
Oh really?
You know the funny, because our parents loved Everybody Loves Raymond.
Too much.
Oh God, thank you. What is it about? That made me so mad too. How much they laughed at it. Every joke they thought it was like the funniest thing.
I don't know.
I think Everybody Loves Raymond was like the pinnacle of those kind of movies, shows.
Yeah.
But it's still Garbaggio.
I think it was just like too much. Like we're just tired of it. Like you kind of got the gist of the entire series from one episode.
Yes.
And I guess that's a lot of TV series, but I think those kind of series at that time were like especially like each episode was pretty much ding 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 same thing. Like same beats and everything.
How much money did they print?
Like cha-ching.
Like literally they have a formulaic, they have like an outline.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, alright, we just need to fill this outline and it's going to be a classic because we got Raymond and this dude, this dad that's hilarious and the mom who's hilarious. Wasn't that Betty White?
No,
No? She sort of looks like Betty White.
you're racist.
I am. But isn't that crazy that he is the monster of this film?
I would have to even look at them again because I can't even picture them as the
I know.
same person.
It was so long ago. 75 to...
And it looks even
2008.
older because it's black and white, so it feels like
Yeah, feels
ancient.
And then he goes, so he plays the monster. Plays the classic trope of Frankenstein, who's like a dumb, lovable, or like he has a good spirit inside of him, but he's going crazy from mentally. And then he goes Smart Hulk at the end.
Uh-huh.
Smart Hulk. What are your opinions on Smart Hulk?
Like Marvel?
Yes.
Like, okay.
Because it all comes back to Marvel.
I just hope they use Hulk again as a beast in some way. Like, I don't care if he's like, ooh, math, and he's like destroying stuff.
Right.
But if he's like just always a side guy doing like little calculations in Hulk form, that's...
He was so useless in that movie.
Yeah.
In Endgame, right?
Yeah. I mean, he did the first snap, but like... I don't know.
Oh yeah, he did do the first name.
But still,
Right.
Thor could have done it and died. So in a way, he was still useless.
Right.
I just hope we get old Hulk back in some way. I just want to see him like destroy, because we haven't had a real Hulk since
Movie.
or like scenario or...
I don't know. It seems like Hulk is a uncrackable code as a movie.
It's crackable.
Oh, it's crackable.
Just need the right nutcracker.
Do you need... Because
I think now that
Waititi did it really good with having him. So there is something there.
Yeah, but now he can talk normally. Maybe that's what they wanted, like, now that he can talk, they're gonna use him as a character. Because it was probably hard to write, like, a lion into a script, you know?
Yeah. Because one of the things I do hate about the whole Frankenstein character is how he's always, like, the same kind of character.
No. Yeah.
Smash!
Yeah.
Kill. Like, I hate that character.
Yeah.
And that is Hulk, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you're right. Maybe that is, like, such a hard hurdle to jump over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that it is such a simple character that they need to make it a little bit more complex. Interesting. Yeah, I'm ready to hear some pitches for a Hulk director.
They have to have something picking up, because they have all the TV series, the next movies.
They have She-Hulk coming up, right?
Yeah, they'll probably do something with that, but I don't know, it'd be kind of weird. Like, is he just going to be a little side character? I want them to, like, destroy things together, if anything.
Yeah, probably not until... He's not going to come out till the next next phase, right?
And they can keep him forever, because it's just his face, right?
Yes.
As long as he's not, like, paraplegic, he could just
Act.
do whatever.
Right. Marty Feldman as Igor, he was really funny to me.
I liked him.
His eyes were crazy.
He's, like, popping out.
Do you think that was a cosmetic or?
I think he's just naturally ugly.
That is crazy. His eyes were like literally about to come out.
Good genetics.
He's so hilarious in the film. Like, he has like a bunch of little quirky things. There's one quote I love where he's like, "I remember when my father like used to talk to me." He's like, "Oh yeah, what did he say? Get out of the bathroom. You think you're the only one that needs to be?" He's just so hilarious. He has like a comedic timing that was so good. Kenneth Mars, an alumni from the producers. Remember him? He's a crazy German in the producers. And in this movie, he plays the Inspector Kemp.
Okay.
He has a great couple scenes too. I love the gag that his arm is metallic and he needs to move it manually.
Yeah.
It's a great simple trick to make things funny. So we're 4 films into Mel Brooks's filmography. What's your takeaway thus far?
It's tough, just because I think he's he's a silly guy, but not in like a rude way. He just likes being silly. But he knows like what to do. He knows the beats of making a movie. He's a musical guy. I think he doesn't take things too seriously. I like him.
Yeah. Don't come to his films to be like, let's analyze this film. Melly, we're calling you. Do you think like, you know how like Mel Brooks, he's like 90 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I get in contact with his publicist.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, my name's Adrian and Eufracio. I run this popular podcast called Peliculas with the Bros.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing a mini-series on on Mel Brooks. Honoring his films, talking about his films. We would love to have just like 5 minutes to talk to him. You think I can get?
I think
You think I could get those digits, Ivan?
I think there's a reasonable chance it would happen, but it's a chance.
What should we tell him, ask him if we would talk to him? Like, hello, Mel Brooks, how you doing? Good, how are you? Well, you know, first of all, I just want to say we love your work. Or do we come a little bit left
You're gonna be like, well, I hope so, and we'll be like, ah.
Or do we come a little bit different?
What?
Should be like, what's up, Mele? How's it going, buddy? Like, be more cash.
What, cash?
The cash.
Cash. Feet up. Drink a little tea. I don't know. I feel like.
Or we could prank them. We could just be like super boring. Like, hello, Mel Brooks.
It's more of a prank on us.
Yeah. And if we do good, this is launch rocket, Evan. We're going straight to the moon.
Wow.
As Playboy Cardi would say, straight to the moon.
Does he say that?
He has a song called Straight
Sounds
to the Moon.
like Mickey Mouse. I don't know. He might. I think he'd be like jolly in his old age, and he would be like
Appreciative.
yeah, and he wouldn't be too serious at all.
Should we green screen it? Well, it's gonna be
With
through
his
Zoom.
face.
It's gonna be through Zoom, right?
Yeah. Green screen, his face on the Zoom thing on the green screen here.
What's the last thing we ask of him? Can we get a shout out? Just a little like cameo. No, that's too much, right?
No.
We need like a connection, like, hey, we're pitching a movie. Can you? No. Business card.
I think the best best path, whatever, would be not to bring anything up.
Just leave a good impression.
Yeah.
Good high quality content.
And then like if we want to do something, hint. Like very like far away hint. like we'll be talking about something and then we'll be like, I don't know, like we had this idea, but don't even like stay on it. But, like,
Okay. So it's like so Mel, me and my brother were talking about this cinematic universe we were trying to pitch to Universal, but I won't get into that right now.
No, that's not even a hint.
That's too on the nose.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, damn.
Like I don't know. Like we're talking about something, and I'll be like, "Oh, remember when we were talking about that Universal Cinematic?"
Oh god! And you look straight at him, all sweaty,
and then pause. And
he's like, "Gotta go, guys. Sorry, it's been an honor." Okay, I'm gonna reach out to his publicist. Let's see if I can get it in. Who knows?
is he even like of a sound mind these days?
Come on, man.
He's 90.
No,
Old age.
Mel seems like one of those guys. Like on his dying bed, he'll be telling jokes.
Yeah, but like, I feel like they'll be racist or something. Like just because he's
Even better. Okay, let's get into the categories, Ivan. Best 5 or 10 minutes of the film. This award goes to the best 5 or 10 minutes, like I said, in the film. Best scene. I'm gonna go with a couple of scenes. One of the best scenes is the opening scene when Dr. Frankenstein is giving the lecture. I think this sort of, it shows Gene at his essence. Being able to be funny, to act his ass off, to be naturalistic, to be crazy. He hits all spectrums. And it's a great scene because there's so many like classic, it's not a trope, what is it? When like you've seen this joke a thousand times, when you've seen this, or when you've seen some, like he basically is able to do things that you've seen 1,000 times and still make it funny.
okay. Yeah.
So they wheeled an old man in who's their test rabbit, their test rat, and there's a part where he's like, once you put this device on the back of his head, he can't react. He loses his motor skills, and then he's like, watch this, and before he puts the device on, he's like, you son of a bitch, and the guy flinches. He's like, see, he's able to flinch. He puts on the device. He's like, you dirty scoundrel, and he doesn't flinch. He's like, see, told you. It's just a hilarious little scene right there. And then there's also the part in the same scene where he's getting so mad and livid at one of the students asking him a question that he's like, damn it, they cannot be! And he stabs himself. And I'm like, is that where Ricky Bobby got it from? Talladega Nights? Where he's like, you want to see what my life's about?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know. But
You don't think it was
I don't.
a direct reference? It's like the old hip-hop songs that we love that we find out aren't really hip-hop songs, they're classic rock songs or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that this? Ivan.
I think, if anything, like a subconscious reference.
Yes.
Like maybe they're in the scene, and then like they're getting serious, and they saw the scissors, and then like it just clicked in their head. And, like, God. But it wasn't like, Young Frankenstein, I remember this. Let's do that.
Okay. I'll let that pass. Frankenstein meeting Igor was a good scene too. Just their interaction. All the interactions between Igor and Frankenstein are hilarious. There's a part where Igor, he has an obvious limp and like a hump on his back, and he's like, walk this way, and he starts walking, and then Frankenstein looks at him, he's like, okay, so he starts walking like paraplegic too. That's a classic part. And just his eyes when you first see him, it's so jarring. My favorite scene by far, and it's a scene that has no consequence to the film at all. It's when Frau Bueller and Frankenstein are interacting. Frau Bueller is basically like the house maiden of the Transylvania home, the estate. And she's like, can I get you a rum for the night? And he's like, no, thank you. And then she's like, and then she's like, how about some milk for the night? And he's like, no, thank you. And she does the sitting, okay. just her little facial reactions are so good and so spot on. It makes me laugh all the time.
All right.
I think another scene that wasn't funny, but it was a classic Gene scene, is when Frankenstein's giving life to the monster, and he's able to go all out and give this big dramatic speech that isn't really funny, but it's pretty cinematic, and it's Gene acting, which you don't get to see too often, and I'm appreciative of that. What's one of your favorite scenes?
Like the dance number towards the end. It was a little goofy. I liked it. Cute.
I did find it offensive in a way though.
Offensive?
Just cause like, the monster was like, yeah.
That's the best part.
But it made me think like, they're sort of making fun of dumb people.
I don't think that's what it is. I think that's your, I don't even, is that racism?
That's
That's your racism.
That's bad. Yes, I know. But it made me laugh too. It was really good. Ripley and Ash Award for Best Piece of Dialogue. There's so many little jokes in this film. There's a part where, what's her name? The chick, hold on a second.
Assistant?
Inga. His love interest.
Mm-hmm.
Inga's like, if Frankenstein if the monster has to be huge, that means he's gonna have a huge arm, a huge leg. Oh, he's gonna have a huge, like, and she says some German word, like Schweinsteiger, and then Mel's like, Gene's like, that goes without saying. That was hilarious.
Casually.
Great Ape Award, Ivan. I think this is just between two people, honestly. Gene Wilder, is this his great ape?
No.
What's his great ape?
Willy Wonka.
So, Great Ape Award, for those of you who are not aware, is the award we give out to the actor or director who, at this point of their career, they will never reach a higher peak of popularity.
Mm-hmm.
Ivan's retort to this being Gene's peak is that technically Willy Wonka has a longer peak popularity for Gene than this point of his career.
Yeah. But
that is hard to attest because it's hard to put that into ramification standards. How can you measure that?
I would just say I see in my day-to-day life more references and images of Willy Wonka than Frankenstein.
Oof.
Not that I see it every day. But
Yeah. If you do, if you have to count.
Yeah, if I had like
at the year end.
Checks, like, oh, Frankenstein. Willy, Frankenstein.
Right. That's good, yeah. Culturally, Gene will never get bigger than Willy Wonka.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what kind of, I wonder what actors are gonna have that kind of legacy where it's like, yeah, who's a good person? Let's say,
Leo?
Who?
Leo?
Yeah. Yeah, Leo's highest earning film is Inception, but what he's really gonna be known for
Titanic?
30 years from now is Titanic. But Titanic was a huge film, so it's sort of hard to... So it's gonna have, like, a cult classic, basically. It has to be what they're known for now. What's a modern cult classic?
Snyder Cut.
Oh, God.
Sadly.
No, it's not.
It will be.
No, either.
It will be.
I know. I
already see it.
A
modern cult classic.
Yeah, like, in the past 10 years... Superbad?
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually a good guy. A good one. Because what's the actor?
The Baker.
Yeah.
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill. He's probably gonna make bigger films. He's gonna be a director.
Yeah.
That's gonna make more more money than Superbad.
Yep.
But 30 years from now, we're like, no, that's the guy from Superbad.
Or even Scott Pilgrim, Michael Cera.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him.
Oh,
Actually, he hasn't really done anything bad.
That's true. Yeah, that's not a good one. Jonah Hill. I like that one.
Yeah.
Okay. We can leave. Scene stealer. Ivan. Who stole the movie with 10 minutes or less? Did you notice that Gene Hackman was in this film? You know Gene Hackman, right?
Yeah.
As? Remember the blind?
Oh, that was him?
That was him.
Should have known.
He was already like old there.
Yeah.
He's still alive today, Ivan.
Christ.
I don't think his was honestly good, but I love Fred Bueller. Every time she was in the film, she was trying to be a scene stealer. Yeah.
Okay.
No, not the assistant.
The older
lady, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I can agree.
Let's rank this movie.
I give it a 7.8.
Say that into the mic for the
I give it a 7.8.
7.8.
And I think I'm just a little overly biased.
Yeah. I think you are. Because I give this movie an 8.6.
You're trash.
So you gave 12 Chairs a 7. You gave the producers a 7.8.
Okay.
You gave this movie a 7.8. And then you gave Blazing Saddles a 9.
If anything, producers would be higher. But I'm a man of my word.
You like to live through. You like to, when you say something, it's never incorrect after that.
Because to a degree, it's
so your past tweets are never offensive. Like they're always gonna be true.
Yeah.
Alright, I love that. Okay. I gave 12 Chairs 6.8. The producers 8.2. Young Frankenstein 8.6. Blazing Saddles 8.6. Yes, I like this movie as much as Blazing Saddles.
You're a psychopath. No, you're a racist. Even worse.
I just think that this movie shouldn't be held to the same standards as Blazing.
Alright. Come and attack my character, why don't you?
Because it's more like it's like you can't rate a PG film with an R-rated film.
I can.
Obviously. And given that it's doing more with less, I would give it an 8.6, the same grade as Blazing Saddles.
Wrong answer.
Well, that was a great bit of banter between my brother and I. That concludes us talking about Young Frankenstein. But next, we'll be talking about something entirely different. Right after this quick commercial break.
What's up, beautiful people? So as you can see, this is a break in format, but we had a slight video malfunction and an audio malfunction, obviously, because you can hear the audio quality is much better now, and then the video is horrible. But I'm sorry about that. We'll do better. We're trying to do better. We're back doing videos for the first time, so we're gonna have a couple of hiccups. But just want to say thank you for watching. If you're watching, or if you're listening, thank you for listening. And we'll be back next week with another episode of Peliculas with the Bros, another Mel Brooks film. And you can listen to us on all podcast platforms, all audio platforms, hopefully. If not, leave a comment so we can get on that. And we're on YouTube again. So, yeah, just look up Peliculas with the Bros. Rate, review, subscribe if you can. We'll be back next week. Peace out. Bye-bye.